Hey folks, Captain Craig here in the Tiki. This is just a little intro to a video I put together. Started with just checking out some manatees and enjoying their kind of vibe, and then seeing a couple scars on their backs, and then thinking maybe it's a good thing to put some information out there about taking care of the wildlife around us. So just being aware of our surroundings as we run our boats through Florida or anywhere, I suppose, but specifically here in Florida, more specifically in the Banana and Indian River Lagoons, where our manatee population has increased incredibly over the past few years. So anyway, enjoy some manatee vibing and some thoughts on how we might be better boaters and stewards of the environment that we are so blessed to be part of. And enjoy. Thanks for watching. Hey folks, Captain Craig here, and we're going to start this week's video just kind of vibing with these manatees. They were posted up out in the canal and just looked like they were having such a good time that I felt the need to get out the drone and get a little footage. I don't know if it's intrusion on their space, but they didn't seem to mind. And then as I watched them and just kind of, I don't know if they're nursing or cuddling or just embracing or maybe something else, but it seems um, fairly benign. But one of the things I noticed is right there, if you look in that darker skinned one, right on the back, there's three lines that are fairly evenly spaced, and those are going to be caused by props. So that's a boater cruising around, more than likely unintentional, bumps into this manatee. Now, those are fairly superficial and they'll heal pretty quickly. Clearly not a high speed gouge or gash into the manatee itself, but it made me think about maybe educating a little bit about our area and what it means to have an area that is a uh, minimum wake, slow speed area. So in our Banana River, Indian River Basin, I've kind of highlighted in purple the areas that are what we call minimum wake, slow speed areas. So that's not idle speed. And I'll put the link to the FWC link, the YouTube video that explains the difference between those. But even closer in the Thousand Islands, all of these areas, to include the channels, are all slow speed, minimum wake areas. So what does that mean? I'm going to break that down here in just a little bit more, so we kind of have an idea of what it is. And many of you already know. Most of our waterways look like this that we cruise through. You'll see a cormorant cruising down here. Um, so there aren't a lot of markers, but if you know that you have to keep that minimum wake speed, you pay attention to the signs and the markers such as this, you know that you should not be cruising on plane or going too fast in these areas. So here, I have the drone up above me and I'm just kind of cruising in a minimum wake, slow speed. That is not, so idle speed, no wake is bare steerage. That's not the case with a minimum wake, slow speed. That does not mean you go as quickly as you can, but you can't be anywhere near plane. So you should not be planing on the planing hulls. So here I'm just passing the resume normal safe operations sign. So I'm going to pick it up. So if you looked on the chart, if you go back and look on the chart, outside of those purple areas, I can pick up and move on plane. So I'm doing that at a safe rate, but I'm also looking for the wildlife and for anything around me. Now, this particular morning was beautiful, flat calm, nobody really around, and I'm just able to pick up on plane and roll. And then I start heading into a place on the north side of Minuteman Causeway in the Thousand Island area of the Banana River called Houseboat Cut. So I'm rolling across the area and the normal operations area and the Banana River, getting ready to take my right turn or my easterly turn into the houseboat cut. This is a really neat area. It's a little straight line cut straight into goes back into the habitat or well, habitat is a lot of mangroves, Thousand Islands they call it, but it's also an area where there's lots of homes on canals. And this channel is traveled a lot. And when I say it's traveled a lot, I mean a lot. And in this area, I have seen the majority of people doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, just like me. I passed the sign where I need to drop down my speed. Probably could have done a little sooner, but still, I'm going to drop back. And now I'm pulling back even further. I'm going to get to my minimum speed, minimum wake slow speed. But on this particular channel, I have seen so many people coming out of the residential or towards the residential just on plane, cruising right past, not paying attention. Now, I think for the majority of people, this is just not knowing, not paying attention. I hope that's the case. Oftentimes, people will see other boats and then they'll drop back, but then as soon as they're past, they pick it up. This is all slow speed, minimum wake area. Now, why? Well, there's a lot of wildlife around, and today I'm focused on the manatees, like I had a video in the beginning. They are, now they can move for sure, and they will move out of your way, especially if you're going slowly. And if you're going slowly like this and you do happen to nick one of them or hit one of them, it's going to be much less traumatic. However, here they are. Like I literally pulled over onto the flat, and this is what I see. Didn't take about a few minutes to notice them. Now, from a bird's eye view, you can see all of them, but look to the left there. So I counted over 20 manatees in this. They call it an aggregation. I call it a posse. However, they're rolling, but we're going to notice on a lot of them those markings that I mentioned before that are from the props, from boats. Oftentimes, again, they are like almost look like dash marks. That's a prop spinning around. But what I'm doing here is spinning around, showing like that's the flat, but here's the channel. And you can see right there, there's a couple of them in the channel, in the deeper water. And from a bird's eye view, like I mentioned, it's easy to see these guys. But from the boat, not so much. We'll get a better view of them and what they might look like on the surface. But as we're going along, if we're not paying attention to these slow speed areas, we're doing damage to these animals that don't need to be done. And it's really a cool place to kind of cruise through slowly anyway. So here they are. You'll see them. They'll bring their nose up to breathe. As their tails push the water, they send oftentimes a circular disc on the top of the water. It looks like a little flat area called footprints or what have you. Um, when they're cruising on the surface like that, like a little V, when there's 20 plus of them cruising, they're moving more water. But when they're out there autonomously, when they're individuals or just a couple of them, they're really difficult to see oftentimes. So it's important for us as coexistent animals, I suppose, in this space with large boats with sharp props to just take our time, be observant, kind of share the water with them. And they're just so cool. Now, clearly, I am not a professional videographer with a drone. There are people who do this much better than I. However, I'm fortunate and blessed to where I get to come out and see some cool places and engage with these animals all the time. But one of the things I want to show here is that they're right next to the channel marker, and you can look to the right there. There are some of them out in the channel itself. For the most part, they're in the shallow area where most boats aren't going to be. One of the things I like to do, my boat is equipped with what's called a porter bracket, which vertically raises the engine up and down. I like to put the porter bracket as far up as I can do safely and still maneuver my boat, because I feel that the higher up the prop is, if I'm cruising and the manatee senses my boat being there, it's going to move, drop down, dive, and by the time my engine gets to it, it's not deep down to where it might damage the manatee. Anyway, they're so cool. And This is one of the largest groups of them I've seen in this area ever. Another picture of our video of me, they're out there in the channel there. But then here in just a second, they move out of the channel and they're like coming right around my boat. So in a situation such as this, what am I doing? I am not putting my boat in gear. You see the power poles down. I am stationary. Let them do their thing and just walk around and just see how cool they are. I typically don't get out or don't let my passengers get out and walk around with them simply because we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to harass the animals. But how cool is this? And then when you're done enjoying them, you're cruising on out and you see this. Resume normal, safe operations. Hey folks, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the vibing with the manatees there. I could not have drawn up their participation any better. They were amazing, but they're always amazing. No dolphin in this particular video, but I will be doing that soon. If we, or if you, are out in the nature, out in our environment, Banana River, Indian River, anywhere in Florida, I suppose, or anywhere in the world, be aware. Be aware of what the regulations are, be aware of the safe boating, have a designated driver, have somebody who is taking the safety seriously and taking the fun seriously too. But for crying out loud, we live in this world and we are just so blessed to be part of this environment that has amazing creatures in it, such as the manatee. And it doesn't take a whole lot of us, from us, to make their worlds so much safer and better. So hope you enjoyed the video and vibe with the manatees. Like I said, I am a fan of going fast on the water in the safe areas, but when it's time where we need to go slowly, we need to go slowly. So enjoy the environment, and if you ever want to go out and see the manatees face to face, I'm happy to take you. So check it out, utopiacharters.com. And we would love to have you out. Thanks for watching.